Hey guys, I'm sorry I couldn't be there in person today, but I'm going to do my best to give the industry analysis and the SWOT analysis for Courtesy Nissan. So between 2010 and 2015, the automobile manufacturing industry in the US brought in $126.9 billion in revenue and grew 9.1% annually. Nissan Auto Group is the sixth largest automobile manufacturer in the world and is also the third largest coming out of Japan. Now, in the auto dealership industry, there are 18,240 dealerships nationwide, and they generate a whopping $809.6 billion. But out of that, they only retain $4 billion, as most of the revenue goes back into purchasing new stock. Now, in this new stock, 57.6% of the revenue comes from the sale of new vehicles, and compare that to the sale of old vehicles or used vehicles, which is only 31% of revenue. Growth of the automobile dealership industry is sensitive to a few outside factors. One of them is the interest rate or the 10-year note. That determines how expensive an auto loan is and can deter people who need to finance their cars. Another is the per capita disposable income. The more money that people have to spend, the more likely they are to spend it on a car. Another factor is the average age of the car on the road. The older the average age of the car is, the more likely it's going to be replaced. The final factor is the regulations in the auto industry that we saw most recently with Volkswagen. The more tests there are, the more regulations there are, that means the higher the costs and probably the lower the sales. The automobile dealership industry has been affected by two advances in technology. The first is the increase of electronic and hybrid cars. That means that every dealership has to retrain their staff on how to properly sell and repair these new cars. The second is social media. It has never been easier to connect with customers online, but it has also never been easier to post a bad review. Many dealerships have a devoted staff member whose entire job it is to keep an eye on their social media accounts and to keep in good contact with customers. The majority of people that go buying a new car don't pay for it all in cash up front. They have to finance it and pay it off over a period of time. This leaves the auto dealerships vulnerable to their customers' credit scores and their ability to repay. If a dealership is not careful about who they extend credit to, they could end up losing money on a sale. Our team saw the strengths of Courtesy Nissan as having a very strong sales force and very high customer satisfaction, as well as very successful advertising campaigns that reach broad and diverse populations. Some of the weaknesses we found is that the Courtesy Nissan is not as well known as a few other dealerships in the area, and they cannot compete on price and volume of sales. The opportunities our group found come from the increasing population in the 33614 area code around the dealership and the increasing number of qualified customers. Our direct threats come from Furman Nissan in Wesley Chapel and Jenkins Nissan in Lakeland.